Hi guys, I'm Chris the High Peak Chaplain and welcome to our Come and See activity. Now, this week, once again, we're going to be doing an activity for the whole school, okay? So everyone is doing this. Now, earlier in the week, we had our collective worship together and we focused on a particular word, and that word was sacrifice. And we looked specifically at something Jesus said to his disciples about the cross. And he said that if you want to be a Christian, if you want to follow me and be my disciple, you must first take up your own cross and follow me. This is really important, you see, because the cross is a big symbol for us as Christians. It doesn't only symbolize Jesus' death and his sacrifice for us, that word that we were looking at earlier in the week. It also symbolizes Jesus' love for us. It symbolizes that nothing is beyond the power of God, that even death runs away from him. Even death cannot hold our God. And there's so much more that we can say about the cross. I could sit here for a whole hour and talk about the cross. But when Jesus said that, take up your own cross and follow me, a lot of Christians have taken that quite literally at times and have taken up their own crosses. You can often tell a Christian when you're walking down the street and you're looking at someone, you can usually tell if they're a Christian or not because they can sometimes be wearing a little cross necklace, aren't they? Some people like to wear them as bracelets, or they've got them on a t-shirt. Some of them have tattoos of a cross, and even if you go into people's homes, you can usually tell because you see crosses around the room. In fact, if you can focus on anything other than my massive head at the moment in this video, you will notice there's a cross hanging up here on the corner. In fact, if I was to tilt the camera a bit, you also see that there is another one just next to it. You've also got one there, hiding in the background. I've also got this one here on my desk, sitting in front of me, and even my Rubik's Cube is in the shape of a cross. I think I've gone a little bit cross mad. But the cross is really important. Jesus tells us to take up our cross, and lots of Christians do this physically every day by every day putting on a cross or putting a cross in their offices. In fact, if you look around your classroom right now, you can probably see at least one cross somewhere in the room, maybe a couple. And if you were to walk around school, you would probably start to notice a lot more. If you were looking for them, could you find all the crosses? Does every single room have one? So what we're going to do is we're going to take up our own cross. We're going to, first of all, make our own cross. We're going to make ourselves a reminder for ourselves, much like the cross that's probably in our room somewhere. We're going to symbolize our own cross, and us taking up that cross together, and us taking up that cross to follow Jesus and follow in his footsteps. So we're going to make a little cross for our desk. Now you can do this in lots of different ways. Obviously, one way we can do it is by getting a piece of paper, drawing a cross and cutting it out. That is obviously a fantastic way of doing it. You can put a lot of colour into it, but as well, you might want to do something a little bit different. And I went for something a bit different because I spend all my day writing on sheets of paper. I want to do something a little bit different. So what I did was I went outside. Now, it's a pretty nice day today in Buxton. So I went out and I found there's a bush around the corner, which, because spring isn't quite here yet, it's still very dead and it's all just twigs and just sharpness. So what I did was I took 2 branches off of this bush and said sorry to the bush for nicking its branches, obviously. And then I put it together with a piece of string. So this is what I've got. Now it looks really simple, doesn't it? It just looks really easy, but this is just going to sit on my desk. I might get a little little plant pot with some mud in it and stick it in. But this is just going to sit on my desk, and this is going to remind me, much like the other crosses that are around the school or around my office, it's just going to be nice to have that reminder that even when I'm feeling a bit sad, even when I'm feeling a little bit rubbish, even when I'm finding it all a bit too hard and it's, the work's carrying on and I've got another meeting to go to and I'm tired and I'm cranky and I'm hungry and I just want to go home and I just want to go to bed, it's nice to have that cross in front of me, because the one thing it should always remind you, every time we look at a cross, we should be reminded of 3 words. God loves me. That's what we should be thinking about every single time we see a cross, because that cross is the symbol of God's love. It is the symbol of how far God would go for each and every one of us. He would even send his son to death. So every time I look at that cross, I see that actually I am enough, that God made me for a special purpose, that God made me and loves me enough that he died for me. So when I'm feeling rubbish, when I'm feeling sad, when I'm feeling tired and cranky and hungry and hangry, which is a mix between hungry and angry, I just look at that cross and I remember that there's someone in the universe who loves me beyond measure and loves me more than anything else in the world. So your challenge today is to build a cross. Make a cross. Draw one and colour it in all beautiful and pretty and cut it out and put it at the top of your desk. Just out of the way so you can still get your work done. But when you take a little bit of a glance away from your workbook because you're getting a bit distracted and you're getting a little bit down and you're not sure you can do this maths equation, let your eyes be drawn to that cross. And let it remind you that you're enough. Let it remind you that you're loved. Let it remind you that there is a God in the universe who wanted you so badly that he just created you from nothing and that he thinks you're brilliant. So take up your cross and follow him. Ready, steady, go.